The observer would like to advise that the following video comes with a trigger warning. The content in this video is of a sensitive nature, so please beware that the topic of this video may trigger you. The observer recommends that you consider your own mental health before you watch this video.
Health professional that will be able to help you and that is trained, that can help you guys. As I say, there's the text number shout as well if you don't feel comfortable talking to someone face to face or over the telephone. You can certainly drop them a text, but please do not feel bad if you have to scroll out or scroll away or it's too much. I expect you to take care of your mental health first. But I think this is such an important topic. Hi, Anti Ice Drops. It's basically about victim shaming and just some narratives that are being run on this app just now. So what I want to do is I just want people to know that so obviously there's a situation going on just now in regards to, I think it was Jayshee and Alicia. So that situation I'm not going to speak on. I'm not going to speak on her side. I'm not going to speak on his side. That situation is being dealt with as far as I'm concerned. It's now gone to the police and that should be dealt with that way. It should have been taken off the app long ago. It should have stopped being talked about as soon as the police were involved. But as always with things on TikTok, things are never that simple. So it's not all. So this is not about that situation. That does not need to be discussed. I don't have any opinions on what is happening with that situation. So what I'm here to call out is the fact that victims are being shamed and that the generalisation of what these comments is doing, what it's potentially doing is preventing other people coming forward or people that have seen this coming forward because of the narrative that they're spinning. That it is very, very, very triggering. It's a very triggering subject. So I'm going to try and be as based on more on fact than on my feelings on the subject, if you know what I mean. Yes, Shan, it is very damaging to other people. Yeah, so victims don't go to the police because of the shame. So we're going to speak more on facts. We're going to speak on experiences and we're going to speak on the comments and the stuff that have been said. I'm not here to chastise anybody. I'm not here to... This isn't like an FYP gossiping my feelings on the people that are involved. I understand that people are fighting for their friend. I get that. We all fight for our friends. I understand that their friend is hurting. And of course, you want to do as much as you can to try and help them. Who wouldn't? And do you know what I mean? In these situations, of course, you're gonna fight with feelings rather than thinking about what you're actually saying. So I get that. I get that you have strong feelings. I get that you want to fight for your friends. I get that your friend's hurting and you're trying to help. But what you need to do is actually think about what you're actually saying in regards to what's the word? So you need to think about what you're actually saying. So either you're speaking on that particular situation between that person, that girl and that boy in that situation, or you're actually generalising essay as a whole. So you really have to be careful with what it is that you're putting across. So what I'll do is I'm just going to No, I'm good, thank you, Mandy. My mods are really good, but thank you so much for offering, my love. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play the video that I found today. Now, this is not anything in regards to these creators. As I said, I'm not going to give my personal feelings on it. This is more of what they've said and how this is basically affecting people. So just give me 2 moments. Sorry guys, just while I get the video. I'll just play it for sound because we know how TikTok is very sensitive and it doesn't like me at the best of times. So we have to be nice to TikTok today.
All they do is have fun, right?
So this is Zach and DG discussing obviously the situation. So just want you to listen to the words that they're saying and how they're putting it. Now, I understand obviously feelings are high, emotions are high and everything like that. And if they want to speak about this situation, everybody has the right to speak about any situation on this app. We all know that. I totally get that. But I'm just very conscious of how this can be put across.
Yeah. He goes, I'll be a fucking a fun sponge for you. He said, I'm just not in the mood to anything. I just want to lie in bed and.
I'm having wars on a daily basis. I'm not happy.
It's mad. I spoke to him every day, like, and I've seen him, but I've not. Like, I spoke to him this morning, but. You know what?
Thank you, Joe. No, I totally get that, my love.
The annoying thing is, thank you everyone for tapping the screen, is from what, you know, early on, Alicia was saying, I've got the proof to get a man convicted or whatever, all over the internet, all over Thingy. And she's saying, I've got everything I need there to get, if I want to get him convicted, I'll get him convicted. JC had her cousin reach out to him. He never reached out to her, he doesn't know who her cousin is. Her cousin reached out to him and messaged him. Saying she's done this before on numerous occasions. The family know about it. She had a fella at the time. She cheated on a fella. She cheated on a fella, and because she was caught out in the act, she said he raped her. She's fucking. You've had JC saying it was consensual on a call. You've had. All you've had from her side is, I've got what I need to convict him, and the message he sent to her, I could send you a message and say you.
So in regards to this part, they are just talking about that situation, specifically about that girl and that boy, and obviously things that they've heard, which of course they're going to do. JC is their friend, they are emotionally invested with him, so of course that's what they're going to do. So they're just discussing in regards to this bit, the situation, messages back and forth, blah 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 blah. And do you know what I mean?
Fucking, you did this. Yeah. That doesn't make it any proof. And then she's saying she's got this proof, but then she's asking JC to upload the full 35-minute call or whatever it was. Why? You've got the proof there to do it, to convict the man or whatever. Then why are you not on live fucking shouting it from the rooftops because you're thinking people are thinking you're lying? Because you've got absolutely nothing.
Thank you for sharing, Laura.
The way you're saying it happened, mate. It's like I said, I think a woman, like we were talking about it, it's like, if a woman, if he got...
So now this is where the harmful part comes in. This is where the harmful part comes in. Yeah, exactly, Miss Baguette. So this is where the harmful kind of conversation comes in, as in, well, she's got proof, so she should show it. And now DG is generalising women. He's not just talking in regards to that situation. He's now gone on to generalise women as a whole.
If she was caught lying, she walks away scot-free. Yeah? If she was caught lying about a situation. But if...
Can I just confirm as well, people have been convicted for lying in regards to SA, rape, etc. Especially if it has been a police case, there has been convictions made. It's not a case of they would just walk away scot-free.
It happened, he wouldn't walk away scot-free. So, but his reputation and his mental health and his everything about is still destroyed.
Because the thing is as well, it resonates to genuine survivors. That's why people will support it, you know, like, and then it's, what's the word? And they'll always make an excuse for the liar and be like, well, you know, the police are shit. This is why people don't do this, and this is why people don't.
That part. This part is really harmful. That part right there, guys. I'll let you listen to it again all the way through. This part is extremely harmful.
If it happened, he wouldn't walk away scot-free. So, but his reputation and his mental health and his everything about is still destroyed.
Because the thing is as well, it resonates to genuine survivors. That's why people will support it, you know, like, and then it's, what's the word? And they'll always make an excuse for the liar and be like, well, you know.
So what he's saying there is that because people are genuine survivors, obviously there's people in this chat out there and everything, what they're saying is that because we are survivors, we're going to resonate with the girl in regards to what has happened, in regards to the victim, essentially. And we're making excuses in regards to for that victim. We're making excuses as to why they haven't come forward, as to why they haven't gone to the police. This part is very harmful. Very, very harmful. This is giving that people will not, do you know what I mean? People will be afraid to support people. People will be afraid to stand up with other victims that might come out on this app. People may be afraid to say that they support this girl, or that they support other girls, or that they support other people. This is a very harmful thing to say.
The police are shit, this is why people don't do this, and this is why people don't do that, which is not the case at all. But then if anything were to happen to him, what then? What then? If the pressure's like too much and getting fucking... what's it?
I've got stats and that, guys, that I will read out after this, but I can assure you, one of the stats was about 1.3% of cases like this that do go to the police, that victims do actually go to the police for, are actually dealt with within the same year. It can usually take up to 2 to 3 years for a victim to get a conviction. Even then, if they do get a conviction, they may not even have like a lot of time, and what they have to go through within that to get a conviction is crazy. So also, if this is, say, someone hasn't came forward and it's a few years down the line, you have the struggle of, if you can't provide enough evidence, it's essentially your word against them. Exact, Shan. 1% of rape charges actually get convicted. So what you have is you have women that have gone through a traumatic experience. They may take a few years to actually digest that experience and want to take it to the police, or they may take it to the police that day. What then happens is that woman is then subjected to, obviously, if they haven't washed or anything like that. Sorry guys, this is very triggering. Please do just scroll if you need to. If they haven't washed or anything like that, they're then subject to tests, a grape kit and everything from the police to gather as much evidence as they can. What they will then be subjected to is getting the person, obviously, what is it called? Interrogation by the police, as to what's happened. They'll be questioned on, were they drinking? Was there smugs involved? All these sorts of questions. This is just all to get it to court. The police then have to gather all that evidence, take it, and actually see if they can take it to court. If a woman does manage to get it into court, this could be 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, in exactly Little Marsh. So then what will happen is when they're actually in court, is you will then face every part of your life being picked apart by that defence lawyer. Or barrister, sorry, I keep forgetting we're in the UK. Every part of their life being picked apart. How many people have they slept with? What were they wearing that night? Were they drunk? Why didn't they fight back? Why didn't you leave? Why didn't you report this earlier? Why is it taking you 2 years, 3 years to report this? These are the sort of things. Exactly, Laura was in an interview room for 6 hours. After you've just faced all that, you're sat there alone. Exactly, little Marsh. Have you slept with anybody before? Has this happened before? What were you wearing? You're quite promiscuous. You've sent these messages to people. Have you looked up your internet history? Why, yeah, did you tell anyone? Why didn't you tell anyone? If this happened to you, why didn't you fight back? So this, why didn't you go to the police? This is all just on the victim. So to say that the police have a handle on it, and to say that when it's not the case, that if you go to the police, that everybody should just go to the police, is a very harmful thing to say. There's so many reasons as to why people don't go to the police, or how traumatic, how traumatizing it is for someone. Yeah, you said you liked it rough. Are you sure you said no? Were you asked if you wanted it too? He's your husband. Why would your husband do that? Or he's your boyfriend. Didn't it just go too far? So this is what I mean when they can speak about an individual situation. Of course, it's their friend. We get that. We get the emotions that are involved with that. But when you start putting out these kind of narratives, whereas this is when it is leading to more victim shaming, and it's harder for people to actually come out. Exactly. Court is re-traumatizing between the weight and the adversarial approach. It is vile. It's crazy. Again, guys, there is helpline numbers in the poll. It is very triggering. If you do need to scroll out and take some time, please do. Please do. I'm just going to continue the video, okay, guys?
I commented on a fucking bullshit statement and said, you know what I mean? Like, you're big and scary enough to put it all over the app and say your piece, but not to go to the police.
Yeah, and also, like, you're saying...
Hiya, big red love.
Like, it's like, if a woman has done it once before, like this, I suppose, like I said to JC this one, I said, well, that's, in a way, it's a bit grim, because, say, if there was a jail sentence for lying, if something's not got enough evidence, and then it comes out he's innocent or whatever, then it's like, that'll stop actual people reporting it, because they'd be like, oh, I'd be scared.
No problem, Kiki, thank you, love.
If it didn't have enough evidence, say, or whatever, and this, that, and the other. I just think it's like, but if a woman has done it on numerous occasions, and this is a family who said this isn't fucking anybody, this is one of her family members who said the nan doesn't even want to own her anymore because this, that, and the other, because of how she is and stuff like that, and what happened with her and her cousin or something. And if a woman has said that more than once, is it not you just, without sounding a bit grim, going out and having sex with people and then regretting it or something, and thinking, oh, because they haven't, I don't know, maybe took you out and loved you and dove you, you know, you're regretting it, and you claim the old R word. I don't know, but I just think like it's because
I'm just going to play that part for you again, guys. So this is what I'm saying is like the harmful part of this, because you're speaking, again, you're taking it out of the context of the girl and the guy, the situation that you're speaking on. And yeah, this is basically like a response from an ignorant man. It's such ignorance in the statements that he is making. Do you know what I mean?
This, that, and the other. because of how she is and stuff like that, and what happened with her and her cousin or something. And if a woman has said that more than once, is it not you just, without sounding a bit grim, going out and having sex with people and then regretting it or something and thinking, oh, because they haven't, I don't know, maybe took you out and loved you and dove you, like, yeah.
Exactly. Every rapist has a best friend who thinks it wasn't there. That is just ignorance. This is what I'm saying. This is why they should leave this to the police. So what you're insinuating there, DG, is basically that if a woman goes out and has sex with a boy, that women become vengeful because the boy didn't take us out or show us love or buy us flowers or chocolates. So what we as women can do is then cry grape, and this is what is that what he's trying to say? That women cry grape because a man that we had sex with is no longer interested in us? Is that the narrative that we're pushing now?
You regretted it and you claim the old R word. I don't know, but I just think if it's on more than one occasion, you know, lightning doesn't tend to strike twice. You're very unlucky if it happens to...
Guys, I'm so sorry. This bit is very, 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 very triggering. This is so triggering. So please, just hold on. What DG then is trying to insinuate here is that the lightning doesn't strike twice. That it is very unlikely that you would be raped twice within a lifetime.
More than once, aren't you? But you're very, very unlucky if it happens to more than once from two different people.
So what he's insinuating there is it's very, very unlucky if it happens to you more than once from two different people. This is what I'm talking about. These ignorant and harmful comments with no knowledge on SA survivors. It could happen to you more than once by two different people. I'm so sorry to say this, guys. On the same night. It could happen to you more than once by 5, 10 different people on the same night. Women have died from injuries they have sustained due to multiple people that have attacked and raped them. They're unalive because of it, due to the injuries they have sustained. It could happen to you. It could happen at any time. It could happen to you 5, 6, 7, 10 times in a lifetime from different people. What you may find is once it's happened to someone, they could then spiral and put themselves into dangerous situations that it happens again because they feel they deserve it and that's all they're good for. I'm so sorry, guys. Please take time, scroll out if you need to. Thank you so much for my mods. There is trigger warning, it's so sensitive. There's helplines in the poll. I've also got numbers pinned to the top of my page. Text shout if ever you need to. Exactly, Miss Baguette, that is so true. DG is the problem. This mentality from a man, this is what the problem is. I'm just going to play it one more time all the way through, guys, okay? Just so you can actually hear the gravity of what he's saying.
The nan doesn't even want to own her anymore because this, that and the other, because of how she is and stuff like that, and what happened with her and her cousin or something. And if a woman has said that more than once, is it not you just, without sounding a bit grim, going out and having sex with people and then regretting it or something and thinking, oh, because they haven't, I don't know,
thank you, Emma,
took you out and loved you and dove you, like, you know, you're regretting it and you claim the old R word. I don't know, but I just think if it's on more than one occasion, you know, lightning doesn't tend to strike twice. You're very unlucky if it happens to you more than once, aren't you? Well, you're very, very unlucky if it happens to you more than once from two different people.
It's right. Do you know what? The universe will do the right thing. I've got every faith, you know. Every faith. Like, what's done in darkness will come to light. When you lie, you fucking always get found out. I've got no doubt in my mind. Thank you, everyone. FVP, Hole, Violet, Kaz, Kelly, Lindsay, Morty Wolf, Leslie, Yvonne.
Oh yeah, guys. Also, they're having this conversation while battling as well. Yeah, sorry, they're having this conversation while battling and gifted and everything as well.
Like you hear, but I don't know about all the stuff that other people are saying. What I know is I turned up, whether she says whatever she says, I turned up the next day, picked them both up. There was no, and I know you're saying trauma can, you know, happen days later, where I picked them both up from where they were staying. We went to the football. She said he was looking fit in his football kit. Have a glitch?
Yeah, it's alright now. You're alright now.
So that statement there again, guys. I picked them both up. She said he was looking fit in his football kit. I know that it can happen days later. These are the kind of harmful statements that can be made. This guy has no clue. Has no clue at all. This guy has absolutely no clue. Exactly, made to all the survivors, to everyone that has even lost their life due to SA and grape. We stand with you. Every woman, every man that has been assaulted, that's had to experience these things. I'm so sorry that this is still happening, that the victim blaming still happens, that victim shaming still happens, that ignorance like this is still around. I'm so sorry. All I can do is help and try and educate people and hold these lives so that you do have a safe space to come to. But things like this, as someone myself who's also been through it and who's dealing with it, I've got like a counsellor and everything, guys, so I'm lucky enough that I'm able to work through it. I know that's not the same for a lot of people because it is hard to talk about. Exactly, all my profanities, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to finish this video, guys.
Said he's looking fit in his football kit. She wanted to, like, it's just fucking, I don't know, it's very good. What happened on the thing, on the day, do you know what I mean? And it wasn't that, so.
When are you like many?
I want to do is have fun right now.
Yeah.
So that was the video from Zach and DG. You've all heard it. I think we know what's happened there. Again, guys, trigger warning. Please do take time if you do need it. What we've also got as well is obviously there's been a lot of lives held on this subject due to the whole subject, basically, guys. So what I want to do is I just want to share with you as well some of the... Sorry, guys, I've got a really sore throat. Some of the comments that were made in lives that were also discussing the topic. Where did I put them? 2 secs, guys. How did I do this again? Oh yeah, I've got it. Come here, you little Pope. So, We'll call out their names as well, seeing as they like to be loud and proud on the internet. So it's the Lil things. Maybe he was a bit rough. Danielle Woolley. She's got a sheep and a little heart. She has been with Birdman. Welsh Dragon. These are all women, by the way. To me, she seems a bit of a bike, to be honest. Gambit Reaper. She's dangerous. Carla. Look at her eyes. She is loving this. Sheila's Lily Pant. Get her in the box. Let's hear what she has to say. Sarah with a dolphin and hearts. Maybe she tried it on with him. He's knocked her back. She's scorned and wants to make it she's the victim. These are all women as well, by the way. I think the one that really got me the worst though was this one. Sorry guys, 2 secs. Yeah, it was this one by Wendy Norman, 54. He isn't short of offers. He would have no need to force himself upon anyone. That was all women. And these are the comments that they made. Yeah. He isn't short of offers. He would have no need to force himself on anyone. Yeah. So this is the type of things that we're actually dealing with here, guys. So this is why this came to light. This is why we're running this live, due to the ignorance being shown on this app. It's not only the ignorance toward that situation. I'm just going to get my friend Kiki up. She knows a lot about this and she is an expert in this field. Sorry guys, 2 secs. Yeah, it was this one by Wendy Norman, 54. He isn't short of offers. He would have no need to force himself upon anyone. That was all women. And these are the comments that they made. Yeah. He isn't short of offers. He would have no need to force himself on anyone. Yeah. So this is the type of things that we're actually dealing with here, guys. So this is why this came to light. This is why we're running this live, due to the ignorance being shown on this app. It's not only the ignorance toward that situation. I'm just going to get my friend Kiki up. She knows a lot about this and she is an expert in this field. Love.
Wow.
Wow, indeed, eh? Like, wow.
And by the way, I'm no expert. I'm just very passionate.
Sorry, not an expert. She's very passionate about it, yes.
I'm never going to claim to be an expert on TikTok. Jesus. I was going to just say, now the majority of people that is in this room right now are going to understand what we're saying and understand where you're coming from, especially with some of those comments that were read out. But there may be just a few people sat in the background that don't quite get why those comments are harmful. So I think we should do a little rewind on those comments, and just in case there are people in here that are just listening or listening from the outside, for them to understand why they are so harmful. So maybe we break those comments down a little bit.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
Very obvious for people that are like active in here, because they're all going to get it. But I'm just like, they're not the people that need more information, shall we say, and to be more informed.
Yeah. So well, what we could do is, so in regards to the video that we just played, the harmful comments I got from that was obviously when Zach said about why don't they just go to the police? They'll make up the excuse that going to the police, that SA victims are making excuses for other say victims.
So anybody that has ever heard me say anything will always know that I never speak on individual circumstances or cases.
Yeah.
That's not the way I work. I always keep it generic, so that it is just about a community and not just an individual case or person. So with the whole police thing, if we're going to use stats again, because we'll have a little stat.
Yes, we're all about the stats.
They actually did. Obviously, we know, first of all, we know that it's only a small percentage of people that report to the police, and even let alone do the whole trial thing. But when victims were interviewed by a charity to ask why it is they didn't want to report, 40% said it was because of embarrassment or shame. 38% said they didn't think the police would believe them. And there were various reasons why they didn't think the police would believe them. This was varying from they just didn't think they were going to be believed. This person was a nice guy and everybody saw them as a nice guy, so they had no chance. Their perpetrator had told them that they weren't going to be believed and they believed that. They also were thinking in terms of, because obviously there's more information out there now, people are thinking, well, I don't have evidence, or I don't have this, or how am I going to prove it? So these were all just some of the reasons that they were given why they thought they weren't going to be believed. And then 33% of people, it was just a humiliation. They just felt pure humiliation and shame. And some of them didn't even have the words to articulate it, to even be like the words would not even leave their mouth. They couldn't even say what had happened with them. And a lot of the time, these are people that either go very introvert and in themselves and end up with mental health or anything else. And then the others, what you find is they go out, and it may be a drinking binge. They may go out and try and reclaim their control by going out and having a ton of one night stands, because that's how they're going to find themselves and reclaim themselves again. And none of those things are wrong. So on the police thing, there's 100 reasons. Now, listen, I'm fully aware, doing a lot of the work I do, that there are a tiny, minuscule number of people that make false allegations. And I will be the first person to drag someone if it's proven that allegation was false, because we don't put that on men or women. That is one of the worst things you can accuse somebody of. But
100%.
It is not false.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. So from that video, we understand that that obviously the emotions are involved. Totally get that. I understand that emotions are involved. They're going to defend their friend. 100%. Who doesn't defend their friends? Do you know what I mean? But we're speaking more on the generalization of what was being said. Like for when DG said, it's very rare that lightning will strike twice.
So that one, because I keep hearing
that is very, very harmful.
Let me give you a stat on that as well. So if we look at adults, and in this situation, it's not really adults because they class it from age of consent to 16. So if we look at anybody over 16 up to adulthood, 1 in 5, and this is women, 1 in 5 women have experienced rape at least more than 3 times. More than 3 times 1 in 5 victims have experienced it. And a lot of people in your comments, I'm sure, will know about this and will have experienced it, unfortunately, themselves. But the fact that 1 in 5 have at least, that's not 3, that's at least 3 experiences. And depending on when these victims were, this research was done, at what age they were done, we know that number can increase. So when you expect someone to just have one experience and that was bad luck, no, that's not the case. So I think that's another really, really important point to highlight.
Yeah, and another point, sorry, just on the back of that, Kiki, is it can happen by multiple different people on the same day, on the same night. We've all heard of women being unalived due to the injuries they've sustained from things like that.
I think what I found, and this is just through work that I've done over many years, what I find is if it's a situation where, like you've just described, it's many people in one night, if a victim is ready to go to the police, they're more likely to. If it's a matter of they've already reported once, nothing's happened, or even if they've got a conviction, which very rarely happens, I hardly ever hear those stories, then a few years later or a year later or whatever, however long later, it happens again, they feel like they're not going to be believed because it's happened a second time. They start blaming themselves because, in their words, they've let it. And I hate that. They've let it, because we never let this stuff happen again.
Yeah.
And it's like, so when it happens over a period of time, the people that reported initially, those numbers start to decline because they're like, I am never going to be believed. How am I ever going to tell somebody that this has happened again? I just about told somebody once. Everyone's going to come for me. They're even going to doubt the first time when they did actually believe me, if they believe me. So it's a really, really, really challenging situation.
Yeah. I totally get that. Hi, Mandy.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. I jumped up because when I was a child, I was SA'd quite badly, but in them days it was all brushed under the carpet, you know what I mean? I was a child.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave birth to a baby when I was 9.
I'm so sorry, Mandy. Are you okay to share this, guys? Trigger warning.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 57 now. It was a granddad, an uncle, and my own dad that great me for a lot of years.
I'm so sorry, Mandy.
And like I say, I gave birth to a baby when I was 9. And the abuse didn't stop there because I had to go over, and they took me to a convent, and that's where I delivered the baby. I don't know what happened to the baby. All I can remember was a lot of pain and a lot of blood.
Yeah.
And to this day, sometimes I always think, is there someone of me out there? Did it live? Did it die? But I wasn't allowed to ask questions. I mean, I'm a child. I'm a 9-year-old child. I should be playing with dolls and such like. But it didn't stop there. The abuse carried on until I was 12, and I went and took to a teacher at school, and I said I just couldn't take it anymore. The social services took me into a foster room, and I was only there 3 weeks, and then they took me back home again.
Oh, Mandy.
And I just couldn't take any more, so I decided I'd got to unalive myself. That was the only way of me getting away from it.
I'm so sorry. Guys, trigger warning, if this is too sensitive, please do just scroll away. I totally understand if you need to. There's numbers up in the poll that is at the top. There is helplines also pinned to the top of my page. I'm so sorry this happened to you, Mandy. This is why we need to have these.
We need to have these conversations.
Yeah.
So thank you to everybody in the comment. I did try to unalive myself at 12. And it gradually started to stop. But when I was 16, I thought, I've got to get away from this because I had such a lot of damage done, and they won't allow me to go to doctor's appointments and things like that. So at 16, I met somebody, and I thought, this is my way out. I'm going to get my own house, and I'll never have to bother with this family ever again.
Yeah.
But I jumped out of a fire, into a massive fire. I've jumped out of the frying pan into a massive fire because I went into domestic violence for 18 years then.
Oh God,
so
Mandy.
All my life was abuse, and it became where it became normal. Do you know what I mean?
So sorry. Are you okay to keep talking?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Anytime if you need to take a break.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
After 18 years, I'd had enough of that as well, because the damage that he'd done to me was it that he'd done as well. I mean, people think just because you're married, you can't be grieved, but that's not true. It really isn't true. I finally got a lot of help. Now, I've had help from Clare's Law and the McGrady Principle. And I see people quite a lot mention Clare's Law.
Yeah, Mandy, can you just confirm what Clare's Law is for people?
Yeah. Yes. Clare's Law is there for people that can check out if somebody's been in a domestic violence relationship with a partner. It's not just for men, it's for women as well.
And it's not just domestic violence, is it, Mandy?
No,
you can check their background, and if they've got anything concerning in their background, the officer will call you, because they won't give it you in writing.
Love you, Vonne, yeah.
Right, and they will give you a call, and they talk through all the things that are concerned, basically.
Yeah. And then I went through a McGrady Principle because I mean, I will say the husband's unalived now. I mean, I didn't do it.
Well, just confirm that Mandy didn't do that.
I didn't do that. But yeah, it's left me. I met a lovely man, and I've been with him 22 years. But it's not a. It's a companionship. It's not a.
Yeah, I get you, Mandy.
It's not an SEX.
It's more company.
Yeah, relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, we have separate rooms. I will never ever, and I know this wholeheartedly, I don't want to be in a SEX relationship anymore, because it doesn't fulfill me anyway. All it feels to me is it's dirty, it's filthy, it's and I can't get that. And I've lived for years now with the mental health. I mean, I have PTSD. Yeah. I have bipolar, and I have trauma schizophrenia.
That's what I was actually just going to ask you, Mandy. So, have you, since all this has happened, have you sought help and things from like therapies, counselling, all that sort of thing?
I tried. But the thing with the therapy was, I mean, I've got a fantastic team of psychiatrists now, don't get me wrong, I really, really have. But it took a lot of years to come to diagnosis and things like that. It's like when I hear people chuck the words bipolar around. No, you don't just get angry for one day. Bipolar, it's awful. When you're up there, you're at your highest, yeah, it's great, but you can get yourself into problems. You want to spend money, you want to feel all this euphoric feeling, you know what I mean? I got into a lot of gambling debt. I was stealing money from my partner, and gambling, and I've never gambled in my life.
Thank you guys for the gifts, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for the gift, guys, but you really don't have to. I really don't. I enjoy putting this kind of awareness out, because I'm 57 now. I'm mentally stable, as in medication-wise. But just to say about the bipolar again, when you come down off that bipolar, it's the worst feeling ever. You're back in that black hole again, and then you've got to try and get yourself back out. And then with having schizophrenia as well, you've got these elusive thoughts in your head and people talking to you, and yeah, there's a lot to it, Mary. What people did do years ago
is still affecting you
went
now.
On to me in later life.
Yeah.
Like I do a little page on a Monday now, because I'm not a trained professional or anything like that, but I'm a professional survivor. Do you know what I
I
mean?
love that phrase. That is, yeah,
And if
that is so good, Mandy.
And if I could help anybody, that's all I'd ever want to do.
Well, just coming up here and telling your story, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing.
That's okay, Mary. And anybody else, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I know this is about all kinds of it. Everybody's got such sad stories, and some people don't still now come out and talk about it, because if in my day it was swept under the carpet, it was never allowed to be spoke about, because there would be consequences after that. Do you know what I mean? But thank you for letting me come up, Mary.
No problem at all. Thank you for coming up, Mandy. Thank you for sharing. Everybody, if you give Mandy a follow, she does run some good lives and things on a Monday as well.
Thank you very much, Mary.
Mandy, go get a cup of tea and a biscuit or something, or a piece of cake.
I'm going to. A massive piece.
Get something nice.
I will.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Mandy. Thank you for sharing.
I'm going to stay in the chat anyway, mate.
Oh, no, definitely. Please stay with us. As long as it's not triggering or that for you, please do stay with us.
No, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Mandy.
Thank you for the gifts, guys.
Hey,
bye.
Bye.
I'll get you up in 2 seconds, positivity. I just want to finish addressing that. But thank you so much, Mandy, for coming up and giving us your story. That was very...
Do you know what's really sad about that is I've heard that story in similar versions so many times. Like, as soon as she said she left, I already knew what was coming. Like, it's heartbreaking. And especially, like she said, we're getting a little bit better now, but it's still nowhere near it needs to be. But if you go back to those of us that are in our 40s or 50s or older, this is why the average age of speaking up or even telling anybody was your 40s. People wouldn't even speak about it till they hit their 40s.
Yeah, I know. Because as Mandy said, back in those days, I wasn't spoken about. That's dirty. And it would have been Mandy that would have been the one that was seen as the dirty one.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody said anything to those men?
Yeah.
Do you think anybody asked them why they were doing it?
And this is the thing, isn't it? It's like always, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? Whereas actually this is all someone else's behaviour. I didn't ask for this. Nobody was. And when you're a child and it's multiple people and it's family, which is like huge stats, you're more likely to have that type of abuse and bad relationships and more experiences when you do get out of your childhood years. It's as if they sense it. They sense what people have been through. And it just, I can't, it breaks my heart.
I know, that story was heartbreaking, but I'm so glad you found a peace now, Mandy, and that you've got your companion in that as well.
I don't even want to call people like Mandy strong, even though we know they are, because we shouldn't have to be called strong for going through stuff like this. Like, we shouldn't have to be strong for this stuff. Do you know what I mean? It drives me mad. Anyway.
It is. Right, so we'll go through the comments. So that was DG's one. Thank you so much, Mandy. Obviously, what he's saying, the narratives, guys, is just, he's not clued up, clearly. He is just throwing out things out there and not thinking about any of the consequences or how it is affecting other people, because he's in an emotion of that's his friend. So I'm just going to keep throwing these things out there. Obviously, he's going to say stuff against that girl. But what he's doing is he's making blanket statements in regards to all victims, which is wrong and which he shouldn't be doing. So the comments, we'll have a look through there. So the first one was, it's the little things, saying maybe he was a bit rough.
Maybe, oh God, how many times we had this? What does that even mean?
Yeah, I'll get you guys in the boxes in a minute. Me and Kiki are just going to go through these comments, guys. Thank you for requesting, though. So maybe he was a bit rough. So what does...
Exactly. What does that even mean? The person that said that, what does that even mean? And if you are, is this consensual rough? Is this non-consensual rough? Is this even been a discussion? Like, you don't know what people like. If you don't know what people like, this is all things that you should be discussing, even if it is consensual.
Yeah.
And none of us were there to know the damn circumstances. This is why I don't talk on individual cases. But you hear that a lot. Maybe it was a bit rough. Maybe she liked it. She said she liked it rough. Stop it.
Well, that was another comment, yeah. So she has been with Birdman, who was obviously another man before.
So we're saying that because someone has been with someone else before, that all of a sudden you're a liar. So what I'd really like these people to do is tell me what the perfect victim is. Like, what is your idea of a real victim? That's what you need to know about.
And does this mean that every other victim shouldn't have slept with anybody else before?
Do we get a checklist on what a real victim is?
Yeah.
What a real victim is. Because I would love to see the checklist of a real victim, because we know that there are, sorry, because it's your platform, I'm being careful with words, otherwise normally I wouldn't on these topics. There's people that work in adult services that get, not adult, well, you know what I mean? That sounded like social work, but no.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, Mom.
We have all this that still get raped. We have kids that get raped. We have a whole range of people. There is no age, no religion, no culture, no background, no nothing on it. Because when it comes to things like rape, actually, I'm going to leave that one because I think you're going to come on to that comment. Sorry, go on.
Welsh Dragon, to me, she seems like a bit of a bike, to be honest.
So
I think that one speaks for itself.
So you know what, as well? Again, coming into this like narrative of what a victim is and what a victim looks like. If a lady is conventionally not stereotypically attractive, because I think everyone's beautiful, then why would that person ever need to grape somebody like that? Look at them, they can do better. However, if you've got a pretty girl out there, oh, well, she's a bike. She must be a bike. Like, look at how she smiles. Look at how she flirts. I'm sorry, like, from young, right, we are at a place right now, and even before, where before we've even hit primary school, we're taught about people not touching certain areas. Then we are taught about how we have to make sure our skirts are a certain length. Then we are taught that we do not laugh too much or smile too much because it may be interpreted as flirting. Although actually we can't be too harsh, because if we're too harsh, we're going to come across as complete bitches. Then we have to look at our throwbacks. We're not allowed to look at our phones, but we have to have our phones in our hands. Like, when does this bullshit stop? Like, we are born with rules. We are born with things that we have to do every day to protect ourselves, which becomes habits. And yet still we get questioned on what it is we've done.
Exactly.
We know a lot of us go to giggly mode. I keep talking. I've mentioned this on your platform about 3 times. There are 4 trauma responses. It is fight, flight, freeze that everybody knows, and fawn.
Yeah.
Fawn is the one that most of us go to, which is where we try and play nice and we smile and we try and joke our way out of a situation or make friends or do all this, that, and the other. So even when people are like, oh, but they were laughing, stop it. If they're saying no and they're backing away from you, they're saying no and they're backing away from you. You guys are all experts at reading body language, apparently, but apparently we can't read simple body language because we don't want to, because it's about control.
Exactly. And that's the thing as well. And the saying on, he had no need to force himself on anyone. As somebody just put, Weinstein, powerful, rich man. Epstein, again, powerful, rich man, probably had women throwing themselves at them. And look what they turned into.
We could list these people.
Celebrities out there that have been convicted that you would think probably have women throwing themselves at you. The Me Too movement. What do you think is happening in Hollywood just now? They're everywhere. Actors, singers.
And Hollywood and all these industries are something that I've been speaking about since my 20s, so over 20 years now. And everybody used to think I was paranoid. I had nothing, because I used to say all those industries are nasty, they're dirty, they're polluted, and then it's never an industry that my family are going into, let me tell you. Like, they
100%, 110%. No way. Look at R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Did you not see what P. Diddy did as well? Look at what came out about that.
Listen, I could go down a whole spiritual aspect on this, but I'm not gonna.
I know. Let's not get this twisted. Regardless of what a man looks like, and whether they can get it or not. This can still happen. Anybody can do it. It is scary. Toggle Talk, what did you want to ask? Yeah, perpetrators aren't just the creepy ones that are portrayed on TV. Exactly, Emma. And people need to understand it can be anyone. Absolutely anyone. And actually, there is a stat that says most perpetrators a woman knows are either in their home that they're related to or have been around.
But 1 in 2 is experienced in your home. And actually, in terms of assaults happening and rapes happening, 1 in 3 women experience it in their own homes. So that could be people you know, family, someone you've brought back, whatever it may be. But 1 in 3, which is, to me, I don't know, it adds an extra level of violation because your home is supposed to be your sanctuary, your safe space. Do you know what I mean? So when someone is in your home doing that, that has just got to be like an additional layer of bullshit. I'm trying to control my mouth.
Toggle Talk. Yes, we have, or if you'd been here for the whole live, we have already actually touched on that. The belief of victims, because there is obviously people that have lied about it. There has been convictions for people that have lied about serious allegations, as in SA rape. What we're doing here is we're not discussing specific cases, or specific instances. What we're trying to show is that narratives that are being run, because of a specific case that has came here, onto TikTok, narratives that are being run that are generalising all SA victims or all victims of abuse, is that we're trying to basically show the reason, because you jump on creators that don't agree. I don't get what you mean.
I don't know about Mary, but I don't know if you were here from the jump. I premised this by saying I never speak on an individual case because I haven't spoken to any of these people. I think, like Mary said, what they're trying to do is there's a lot of victims and survivors out there at the moment that are seeing a lot of comments, hearing a lot of comments, and it's really, really triggering to them. And not specifically about those 2 individuals, just the comments that are being made in response. So when it's becoming very, very triggering, what she's trying to do right now is just literally go in and be informative so that people understand, just because somebody, and not him, because I know you've got his name in there a few times, not him, anybody, like you said, R. Kelly, Weinstein, whoever, someone can be charismatic, someone can be joyful. Just because they're a good person doesn't mean, or just because they can get 100 women doesn't mean they don't have potential to grape somebody. Like, there's no set definition on what a grapist or an SA looks like.
Yeah.
When people are saying things like it should be reported, that stuff that just disheartens people. So if there's people out there right now, and I've got 3 people that I'm working with or in my life right now who have been raped recently, and their biggest concern is nobody is going to believe me. Why would I go to the police? Why would I be dragged for a court case? I don't want to put myself through that. And one of them can't even tell me what happened because she has no words. So it's literally trying to give an informative live to people that are in that position so they're not affected by what they're reading in the comments. And I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. So you've basically just said everything I'm about to say there, Kiki. Thank you, my love. You feel it's been better. I find it hard with words, guys, sometimes because like my ADHD, so you'll find me thinking. But yeah, Toggle Talk, we're not speaking about specific cases. What we're speaking about is in regards to the blanket statements that are being put out there, comments that are being put in sections, and things like that. And we're trying to make people understand the reasons behind why this is so, it's harmful statements that are being made, blanket statements. I understand that it's a heightened situation between a creator and another creator. I understand there's friends involved. Of course there's going to be emotion. Of course you're going to defend your friends. You're going to do everything that you can do. But what we can't do is then you can speak on that situation if that's what you choose to do. That is entirely your choice. It's now with the police. So my feelings on it is that particular situation should have been taken off of TikTok, should no longer have been spoke on because there's police involvement. But what I'm saying is people are now speaking on it and they're making blanket statements in regards to victims of SA, not just specific to that case, if you know what I mean. I'm not here to be judge, jury or executioner for anything. I'm here just to inform people of why these blanket statements are harmful and basically put people back or can affect people and stop them coming forward because of these statements that are made in general in society. You currently have, with things like SA or Grape, why is it always the women? Why is it always the women that is victim shamed? And I understand men also get this as well. I get that as well. But what you'll find is it's mostly women that are affected by SA or Grape. What I'm saying is it's always, what were you wearing? What, were you drunk? Why didn't you push them off? Why didn't you fight them? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Whoever goes to the person that has committed these issues and whoever stands up, when the first thing that happens when a Grape or an SA story comes out, what's the first thing people go to? The woman. What were they wearing? Were they drunk? Has she slept with other people? What is she like when she's been around other people? Is she being truthful? Did this actually happen? That is the first thing you'll do. You will never find, and if you do find one, please do point it out to me. You will never find the first thing that's brought up is, why did he do that? Why did he attack her? Has he attacked other women? Has he done this before? Could there be other victims that come forward? You will never find that. And if you do, please, I will eat my words. Please come and tell me that. But this is why we are doing this, to show the difficulties in being a victim of SA or being a survivor as well, because I know some people do like to use survivor of SA or Grape. And we need to show why it is so hard, and we need to change this narrative in society. The first thing you need to do is, if there is victim and there is an accuser and an accused, that is for the police and things to decide. If people do decide to go to the police, we can't question people on what they choose to do and what they don't. All you can do is be there for someone and try and help them through. But what we can't do is then give out these narratives of, well, they should go to the police instantly. Well, they shouldn't have done this. Well, it's not likely that lightning's going to strike twice and that you're going to be raped by two different people. Well, maybe she likes it rough. Well, he's quite good looking, so I don't see why he would have to attack anybody. These are dangerous things to put on. We need to stop this victim shaming in our society. We need to be looking at the perpetrator, not the victim that it's been done to. The first thing you should always do is go to that perpetrator and say, why? Why did you do this? It should not be, well, what about her? What has she done? And it is unbelievable, only Ames, that people still think in this way. Look at Mandy's story. She was 9 years old. Could you imagine how confusing that was for her? Sorry, trigger warning, guys. And what happened with Mandy? I know it was back in the day. Mandy's 57 now, and it was back in those type of days. But look at what happened from those days. This still carries on. It was Mandy that was put away. It was Mandy that was put into these homes. It was Mandy that was shied away from people. Those men would have still got to live their lives without question. They never got questioned or anything about what they had done. It was her fault. A 9-year-old girl. That was her fault. And she was bringing shame to her family at 9 years old. And she was hidden away. That is how difficult these things are. And that is still coming through in our society today, guys. This needs to stop.
You said Mandy's like 57 and it was back in the day, but I can tell you a story of someone who's in their 20s now who has a very similar story. She was taught, except for it was an uncle, it was a granddad, and it was a stepdad. And that was, and like I said, the girl's in her 20s right now. And she was pulled a bike. She was said that she was leading her mum's man on. She hit on it. This is to a child. You're telling a child. of 8, 9 years old. And then you're wondering why your kids run in the streets not wanting to come home, and then they're getting beat for running the streets and not coming home, and then put into home after home after home, where they're getting even more abuse in these kids' homes. So this story is this. I mean, the story just reoccurs. It seems every decade. It's not stopping. Just slightly different versions and different characters.
Sorry about that. Somebody was at the door. Yeah, I just caught the end of that there. Yeah, as you said, Kiki, it's just the story is still there, but it's just adjusting to like our different ways of life, if you know what I mean. We no longer have, like, I don't know, what were they called in Ireland? Remember the homes they used to put the girls in?
Yeah, it was normally run by nuns, wasn't it? It was normally the
nuns. Yeah. If anybody knows that name, so sorry, I can't remember it off the top of my head. But the homes, that they used to put the girls in because they were seen as too promiscuous, or they were
had to hide them away from the rest of the community and the family.
Yeah, like the wayward girls' homes. They had to be hidden away from the rest of the community. It was ridiculous. So this is what we're trying to do, guys. Yeah, the laundries, that was it.
And it's because they were bringing shame on family. Forget the person that had assaulted them. They didn't. Apparently it was the victim that brought shame on the family.
This is what I'm saying.
It's like, even logically, like, make it make sense. I'm sorry.
Like, and we totally get, like, this is the thing though, as Kiki said, we'll ride just as hard for people that falsely accuse others of rape or SA, because yes, they do not do the victims any help. They do not add to, do you know what I mean? Because of that, these things are still continuing. We'll ride just as hard for that. But we're not speaking about specific cases here. We're speaking in generalisation for all victims and all SA people.
And I say that coming from somebody who, like, I literally advocate for victims. That's what I do. But I had, so I've known 3, I've had it, because of what I do, obviously things get brought to my attention. There were a couple of guys who were just around the area. I didn't know them, who were both brought to my attention, both wrong uns. That were called out in the end, because it was like, I don't care, like, whether I know you or not. I also had another male in my life who was called out, and it turns out there was a false allegation, and I saw what this man went through having that false allegation on him. But straight away I didn't go to jump, defense, protect mode, because I knew him. It was about, let me just figure out what the situation is here. And luckily it was a straightforward case, because he wasn't even in the area at any of the times. Now, victims can get timelines wrong 100%, because memories can be faded. So even when victims get times or places wrong, not necessarily places, but dates wrong, that's expected. But his was just too wayward off, that we realised it was just a false allegation. So yeah, I would drag you harder if you are someone making a false allegation.
Exactly. But as we say, we're not judge, jury and executioner. And obviously the ongoing case that is happening just now, I totally believe that should just be taken off for both his and her mental health. None of them should speak on it. It should just be off, and their friends and that should just stop speaking about it as well. It's at the police now, so that's where that's at. So what we want to do as well is, I've got some stats here. I don't know if they have been updated or not. This is just from the Cambridge Rape Crisis Centre. Rape Crisis Centre. So 1 in 4 women have been subjected to some form of sexual violence since the age of 16. Also, 798,000 women across England and Wales, so that's not including Scotland and Ireland, are raped or sexually assaulted every year. That's 1 in 30 women. So you will know someone, even if they haven't told you, that has been SA'd or raped within their lifetime. 70,633 rapes were recorded by the police in the year ending September 2022, and obviously we're a few years on now, the highest number ever recorded. 70,000, and this is only in England and Wales, guys. 633, the highest number ever recorded. That is crazy. Most survivors of grape don't report it to the police. 1.3% of grapes reported to the police in 2021 resulted in a charge that same year. 1.3% out of 70,633.
That's just a charge. That's not a conviction, peoples. That's just a charge. That hasn't even got to court yet.
Yeah. And that's out of 70,633, 1.3%. 5 in 6 women who are raped don't even report it to the police. 5 out of 6. And 4 in 5 men who are raped also don't report it to the police. So you've got 1 person in 6 that will report this.